Well, I guess we'll start again. The was running a VPN, and I guess it wasn't channeling correctly. But anyway, I get asked a lot about my hinges. Let me switch cameras. I get asked a lot about these hinges, and these are the best I've ever used. Uh, Let me explain what I'm doing here. Now, John does his differently. Since I turned him onto these hinges, he cuts a slot in it. I did that on my Tucker. I'm not real thrilled with it. Okay, sound and picture good. Thanks, Craig. Not real thrilled with that method, cutting the slot and sticking wood in sideways. So I'm going to put the hinge in like that. I made a tool, which is just a sanding block, that cuts these grooves. It's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. You got to make sure that you cut this groove. You could hold a square up to it, I suppose, while you were doing it, but I don't see a need for it. I can pretty much eyeball it. You got to have this line as 90 degrees, and you have to have the face at 90 degrees. So you cut the pocket equal on both sides of the hinge or the flap, or the flap or the elevator. So I just hold it in my hand. Cut this hinge in, cut the pocket in. I'm going to go through the whole process of this business today on how to do this. The only thing I won't do is I won't put the horn in it until I get to John's, and we can use his horn jig to bend at 90 degrees. Sometimes I do this too. Let me turn this down. The one-man show. Got to run the camera, do the work, write the script. I'll put it on the edge of the table. You got to be careful. This is just a piano stand with a piece of just run this thing down until it touches the stop. Basically a modified plate hinge tool. Anyway. Morning, Greg. Yep, we're going to get a close-up of it. This, I got it cut crooked here. I got to straighten that up. Okay. Let me see here. There we go. This groove right here, the slot this way, has to be a little bit more than 3/8 of an inch. I usually cut them 3/8 because that's the diameter of the ball, 3/8 of an inch, because that's how thick the flaps are. So you want that set in deep enough that the hinge pin itself will go across this line right here which is 3/16 of an inch deep. So this measurement here is 3/16 of an inch. Let me straighten this up a little bit. Get this. I'll put a piece of sticky back paper on it. I don't like how that came out, so I just put a piece of sandpaper on my machinist rule and we'll clean it up. That way it's perfect. The only drawback to these hinges is that you can't finish the hinge pocket before you put the hinge on. I suppose you could, but the minus of that, because they look, very, very good. So we're going to clean this slot up a little bit. I use 80 grit on that, so pretty much cuts it pretty good. Yeah, we're going to get a good look at the hinges because I'm going to show you how I bush them and everything. Again. So if you go on the forum, there's this is my design. I cut the originals by hand at first, but there's a guy on the forum in the vendor's corner with the router service. He'll cut you a buttload of these hinges for $30. I mean, you get enough to do a lifetime's worth of airplanes. But he ain't going to do, one set of hinges. You're going to have to buy a pile of them. I'd buy them by the bag full. $30, I think. Whatever I run, I give them away too sometimes. No, I'm not sending anybody any hinges. I just don't have the time for that. Okay, so we got one elevator done. Let's do the other one. That way we can do it all at once. In my previous video, you remember that I drilled holes, 16th-inch holes, where the hinges go. Because that's where the pocket is, the backup piece of wood inside there. So we'll get this one going. It's exactly in the right spot. You build your airplane in 4 parts: wing, fuselage, elevator stabilizer, and rudder. If you can't build a wing in a week, or a fuselage in a week, or an elevator stabilizer in a week, or a rudder, you ain't working. So you should be able to frame a full-size stunner up in a month. That's let's see, what is that? 20. That's an hour a day for. I mean, that's 30 hours. You should be able to do it if you sit down and work at it. Can't push on this table because it'll flip off of here. Let me move it this way a little bit. This could be interesting here. I need to make the stop smaller on this so I can get up tighter. I'll draw out the dimensions for you too, so you know exactly what you're looking at if you want to make these hinges yourself. Almost. Remember, I'm going to try for a better finish on this, so it'll probably even take longer to finish this airplane, so I got to get on the stick. When I'm in St. Louis and I'm not working and I can spend 40 hours a week on something, I can really crank them out. But when I'm only spending 5 hours a week, that's why I took the day off to try to make hay. That, and I got some other stuff I need to do. Okay, one more pocket and we'll put the bushings in the hinges, and hopefully I got some wire, some hinge pin wire. I want to make sure this one's exactly as the other one so that they'll, I don't know, is that a good idea? No, we won't make it exactly the same. That way they won't, I can't flip them side to side. I won't make a mistake. Or should I make them exactly the same? Yeah, I guess we'll make them exactly the same. Time for a new workbench for me. Now these hinges are not my idea. They took me 25 years to figure it out. A friend of mine, Ron O'Toole, told me about I haven't talked to Ron since I developed these. Told me something about this in the 90s, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I guess it's been about 10 years I've been using these now. I was sitting on the couch and the light came on. And like I say, I haven't talked to him, so I don't know if this is what he was talking about or not, but this is what I came up with. And you could conceivably route a slot in the trailing edge here, insert some aluminum tubing, bury it into the wood, and run the wire the full length of the flap and the full length of the elevator, and have removable flaps and elevators. And I'll tell you, when I swapped out the elevators on my Monado, it was a real easy swap out because I just broke off the elevators and cut the hinges off, moved the hinges over 1/8 of an inch, drilled some new holes. Okay, we got all the hinge pockets cut. So let's clean these up here. I'll explain why I like my way better. Do you have much trouble with sticking? No, nothing. And I'll show you what. The reason why is that the hinge pin is buried down in the flap. It's not, you can't get any paint on it. I suppose if you globbed on a big, poured dope down in there and let it harden, it would cake. But spraying, you know, it doesn't do much. Doesn't do anything really. Okay, so we got these cut, and we're going to need a piece of 3/16. And I probably threw that out and won't be able to get at it. Yeah, it's down on the bottom. Okay. So the next thing you need is a piece of 3/16. And my balsa stripper. Gotta find that. Someday I'll get this bench cleaned off. I worked on it a little bit. But if it ain't dirty, you ain't doing nothing. There's the plane. There's this box. I can throw it out. Okay. Let's change the camera angle so you can watch me doodle around. I'm looking for my balsa stripper. We got rudders. We got lots of rudders. Gotta make them 10 at a time. Put it on the bench with the rest of the crap. Okay. Yeah, man. Aha, found the back plate and a knife. That's good. Man, there's a lot of stuff on this bench you didn't know I had. Not much trouble. No, nothing. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I got to spend a minute cleaning this off so I can find a balsa stripper, and I'll get back to it. Found my sponge, that's good. Come on, dude, where did it go? We're gonna need this box of hinges too. Ah, there it is, found it. Okay. Now, I'll explain why I like my way better than John's. For mounting these. Let's change back to this camera angle. Okay, you want to measure a piece of 3/16 that's going to be we'll just cut it a 1/2 inch. 1/2 by 1/2 of this. It's almost a 1/2, 490 thousandths. This measurement here has to be perfect. And I'll show you why. So I'm going to clean up the edge of this. So you want real good straight edges for the edge of these parts. So we'll cut up enough to do 2, 4, 8 pieces. First we'll check them. So that'll do 2. You want this piece the width of this perfectly so that it touches this edge and makes a nice straight pocket. But you don't want to put the grain on that way. That's effectively what John's method was doing. He cuts a slot and it works. It's just that I don't feel comfortable with it. It cuts a slot this way and you force end grained plywood or balsa or whatever. Yeah, he uses plywood, 64th plywood in this way. I feel a lot better just using straight balsa wood with the grain running this way so that the wire is pushing against the grain this way instead of this way, if that makes sense. So we got 1. That's 2, 2. That's 3. That's 4. I don't know what that doom was. My phone's been acting really goofy. I have no clue what that was about. Okay. So I've been working on these out of this box for quite a while, but when you buy hinges, you get a box. This whole box was full. You'll get, that many hinges. Then you're going to need to find you some 3/32 ID eyelets, and that's so that this wire because this needs a set of hinges too. I already have them stuck on there. That wire passes through there as a bushing. Then the hard thing to find are these. You're going to need these 16th, I dropped it, no. 16th of an inch OD brass grommets. And they go in the hinges like so. Come on. Let's see, where's my tool? Don't tell me I've lost my tool. Oh, there it is. Then you got to take a piece of piano wire and you grind a shape on it like that. It's a like a furling tool so that it sticks in there. And we're going to go over the vise and peen that down. So I got one. Need 4 of those. And if you want to find these type little grommets, you just type a Google search in or DuckDuckGo or whatever you use. And just look for brass eyelets of different sizes. I think I got these from Amazon. Not expensive, $5 a package or something. These hinges are just more work than money. Come on, get in there. Okay. So we got 4 ready to go. We need, I'll put these back. I need 2 for the bigger bushings. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. So now I need to find my hammer, which I haven't seen in a while, which is, I know, is here somewhere. Ah, I hate it. Where's my tapper? I suppose I could do it with a backside of pliers, but I bought a little special tack hammer to do these with. Yeah. Which is a bummer. I can't find that damn thing real quick. Very unorganized here. Because there's no room. Hang on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Well, that's good. It wasn't the other side. I mean, it's my guitar player buddy. I don't think he's going to wind up though. So. All right. Well, it looks like I'm not going to be able to find the hammer. So we're going to use an equivalent beater. Would have been nice to use the right tool. That's not going to happen. So, instead of wasting time, we'll just go over here. shoot. Oh man, too many cords. You know what? I'll just take the other camera. It's already unwound. So move this one over here. Come on. Gotta move this out of the way. I'll leave the microphone directed in that position. Get off there. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. So, your little anvil or vise or whatever. I'll take these hinges over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to set it on the vise upside down so that the ferrule is up. Take your little tool. Can't find my hammer, so I'm going to have to use a pair of pliers. And I hate using tools the wrong way. But you stick it in there. Tap. Yeah, I need to find a hammer to bend that over good. Oh, man. All that does is tighten the bearing up in the plywood. You know, I'm not sure that you'd really, if you couldn't get away without using a bearing. But I've always put bearings in them, so. Don't know how long it would last. A piece of wire on plywood. This is aircraft plywood, not light ply. Let me look real quick again for that hammer, because I'd like to get those things mashed down. What in the hell happened to the hammer? Every time I need to use something, it's never where I can find it. Danger, Brodak. 43, let's put this over here. We're gonna have to go through the wood box too, because the wood box is not good. I wonder if I got that hammer in the car, in that box in the car. I don't think I would have took it home, but well, I can't find the hammer, so we're not going to let that stop me. I guess I'll try to tap it down with these pliers. See what happens. It's probably going to mash over. Of course. That worked out right, I guess. Okay, we got them mashed over. I like using the correct tools, but I got to do what I got to do. Okay, let's see what this other camera looks like. Yeah. Okay. Put this back. My toolbox at work, because I'm a mechanic, is well organized. I can find anything in a snap. I guess that's maybe why I'm not too organized at home, because I'm so used to doing it at work. Let's see what this was about. Oh, yeah, Cinco. Just watching the stream. Let's see here. Watching your stream and saw. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can call me and we'll talk about it. Sunday. Can't be during the week because I'll be at work unless it's after 4:30. Okay. Alrighty. So we got these done. And let's see, we're on this camera. If you look here, it's peened over on that edge and peened over on that edge. The hammer would have done a better job than the pliers, but the pliers worked. We're not building the watch, so. All right, the next thing is to find a piece of wire. And that part, I don't know whether I got. I do, I think. Nope. I might not have any wire to do this with. Shoot. It's got to be thinner wire than that. Oh, crap. There it is. Yep. Okay. This wire here is kind of hard to come by because it has to be, I think it's 44 thousandths. I guess we could measure it. I don't have my micrometer here. It's in my toolbox. We'll do it with calipers. It is 32 thousandths. 33 thousandths. And you got to kind of hunt around for wire that size. But, so the next thing you want to do is you want to cut a piece of wire that's the length of this minus a little plus a quarter. So let's see if that comes out. 1.25 inches. So we'll cut all the wire at 1.25 inches. Need 4 pieces. You know, this wire and the hinges, if you buy a box full of hinges and 2 pieces of this wire, that's more airplanes than one guy will build in a lifetime. More or less. Not me, but the average guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't lose my wire. I only got 1 piece left. Okay. So we know what's in there. So now you need to take a pair of pliers. If I can find those. I just saw them in here. One of these drawers a second ago. Slip joint or needle nose, one. Come on. Yep, there they are. And come over about 3/8 of an inch or so, whatever the pliers noses are. You want to put a 90-degree bend on it. We'll do that 4 times. I didn't get it bent 90. These pliers won't allow it to bend 90. It's a little less. There we go. 90, a little over 90, but it's okay. Okay, we got them bent up. So now you just put the wire through the hinge. I just eyeball the center. You could measure it if you wanted, but I just put the hinge in the pocket. Let me turn it this way a little bit. So the wire goes in like so. I just eyeball it in the center and I make an indent. That way we know we're on line. Then I turn the hook down. And the most careful thing I do, thing you gotta do is you gotta be damn careful on this next step, because this next step could be catastrophe. But so many things in model airplanes are one chance deals, so I'm used to it. You want to make sure that wire is parallel to the hinge line. I'll force it all the way in underneath the wood. So now it's forced all the way in there underneath the wood. And let's get a saw. We're going to saw these pieces in half. Or not in half, but in semblance thereof. Cut this one into 3 pieces would be good. Now I've done. I only needed 2 pieces of wood instead of 4. Cut it in thirds, which much doesn't matter. Is this more work than a plate hinge? Yeah, but the benefits of it are enormous. Okay, so we're going to need this and the instant set. I got CA, I got kicker. Do not get any glue on the hinge. If you do, you just rip it out and start over. You might be repairing something. Put some glue down in there. Force that piece of wood up on there. You screw this up, it's a disaster. So I try to keep the angle of this when I put this in running downhill so that the CA doesn't run up next to the hinge. And then just move it back and forth. That's it. That hinge is in there now permanently. Let's do another one. And it doesn't matter whether you put the tang to the inboard side or to the outboard side. I don't foresee a difference. That tang is just to keep the wire from sliding back and forth. It doesn't really act to hold anything on. And I know I just dented the first time so that I can make sure that that dent line is parallel. You could draw it on there, I suppose. Whatever you guys want to do, it don't matter. So you know where to force that tang in. I'll also show you some stuff that I bought from Amazon. However, I haven't seen. The only reason why I bought it here in Dayton is I didn't have any in Dayton. It's stuff called Dry Slide. And the reason I know it worked is because when I worked at Harley Davidson, we used that on motorcycle cables, and I had bottles and bottles of it. And I always used it on my ball links and bearings. And this is pretty pricey stuff too. $28 for this bottle. It's going to take the label off. It's a dry moly lubricant, meaning that it's graphite, but it has a nice little needle on it. You can stick it down in there and oil the hinges and all that. And I don't put this on until after the airplane's painted, till after it's finished. Of course, you can lubricate your ball joints with that before it's finished. But as far as the pivots coming out of the fuselage and the hinge points, don't put that on there until after it's finished. Otherwise, you'll have a fisheye. Yeah. And these turn out as good as you want to spend time doing it. I mean, you can make them absolutely perfect if you want to spend the time. Some guys are like machinists and they want everything done absolutely perfect, but an adequate job will be suffice. And how you know that this thing's going to be locked in there, we're going to go ahead and whittle these off here. Oh, shoot. That's one. I need a new blade in this. It didn't probably sharp enough to cut me, but not sharp enough to cut wood good. Oh boy. Okay. New blade on there. Damn. Crap here. Well, that didn't do much either. There we go. Anybody got any questions on these hinges? They're relatively simple. And don't put more than 2 on an elevator. You can get 2 lined up perfect, but you can't get 3 lined up perfect. They bind, and there's no need for it. Over the length of a flap, you put 3 in, it's not a problem. But you also have a bearing at the root with the horn. So you really got 6 on these. But the horn is acting as one of the hinge points. Okay, so we got that roughed in. Let's get this and give a little sanding here. So the hinge point, yes, I glued the horns in. Everything's glued together. Now, if you were going to do a takeoff hinge or whatever, you know, elevator flap, I mean, you wouldn't glue the horns in. You would make a clip for it, but so the pivot point of this flap is behind the leading edge. It's 3/16 in from the leading edge. So when it goes up, the leading edge always stays up tight to the trailing edge of the stab. No need for crappy hinge tape. Plus it has a pocket, of course, so there's 0 bleed off. Never was a fan of hinge tape. Of course, this project is like everything else that I do. You know, I get it roughed in, and then I go on to something else, and then I'll come back and work on it some more, and go on to something else, and then come back to it again. I do that a lot. But drives John nuts. But that's just how I've been. Now this particular model, I'm going to add a little weight because I'm going to put a horn clip in this one. I didn't add horn clips on the other models. I kind of now wish I would have. You know, I guess that's a part of being a weight nut. You know, those horn clips weigh something and they're all the way at the back. But it makes tweaking of the things a little easier. So we're going to go back to the horn clip. But I might use light fly instead of aircraft. Try to save a little weight. Okay, so when you cover this, you're going around this area. So that locks that block in there. So this, it can't pull out of there. There's no way. And you're gluing wood to wood. I was going to give you dimensions on the hinges. You could use these hinges for 1/4 inch flaps, 1/2 inch flaps, 5/8, whatever. 3/8 is what I use. But the diameter of the lollipop, the popsicle, or whatever you want to call it, the lollipop, has to be the same diameter as the flap or elevator. So if you're using 3/8, you make a 3/8 lollipop. It's 1/8 wide. It's a, let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is 6-ply aircraft ply. They don't weigh nothing. 6-ply aircraft plywood. You don't want to use light ply. I'm afraid they would probably be rot or whatever. But for what these weigh, you know how big it is, just use aircraft ply. You want the tang 1/8 inch wide by 1/8 inch thick by 1 inch long. That's measured from the center, I believe. Yeah. I made these a couple of different ways. Yeah, it's from the center. So the center of the hole to the end of the tang is 1 inch. You install them like I did here, or you can install them any way you like John does. And then to install them on your elevator stabilizer, of course, you got to have the blocks in there to make sure that you got good wood contact. You just drill a hole in there and stick it in. 1/8 inch hole, and then broach it with the piece of square. I used to have a couple of these at home that had an angle ground on it just for broaching. You just stick it in there and it peel back the wood and turns a round hole into a square one. Any questions on that? Like, subscribe, share the videos. Please consider becoming a paid member of the channel. It's $4.99 a month. It's right down next to the subscribe button. It's the join button. Super chats help. This channel has got to make YouTube money or we won't be around. I was over on BitChute and CloudHub looking to see if we could diversify a little bit so we're not quite stuck. I might take some of the videos over there on BitChute. I'll just do building videos over there because they don't, unless I'm a big platform, I don't think they allow you to live stream. So we'll just be uploading building videos there. It might be easier to find. I'll try to categorize and put all the hinging, all the stab building, all the finishing videos in one section. Because I know that my channel is very unorganized. It's just, there's over 1,000 videos on my channel. And I didn't write much in the description box. I'm a builder. I'm not a YouTube guru. I probably would have more views if I would follow their guy. I just don't have time. You know, how can I be the operator the writer of the script, the cameraman, the sound engineer. You just can't do it. There's not enough time in a day. And not getting paid to do it. So, I mean, if it was my job, I'd probably take it more seriously. Okay, let's mount this one up. We got one done. Let's mount it up. So that's number one. We need it to be, that's number two. Almost screwed up. Is this number one? Yep, number one. We're going to make a mark up here. Center of the hinge. Center of the hinge. Remember, we're not building a watch, so the finger method works. Eyeball the center. So I put 2 marks in the wood where the hinges go. Let me get a drill bit. (9/64). Now I probably won't be able to find an 1/8. Yep, I got it. 8. What do you know? Didn't have to look too far. Oh, I don't have to look too far for this either. This is good. Except we got the wrong sandpaper in it. Okay. (1/8). Okay. You want to hold this 90 degrees in 2 directions. So you want 90 degrees this way so that the hinge goes in straight. And you want parallel with the or through. And remember, part of doing this is pre-planning where these hinges go. Because it has to have a block to capture all the wood. You wouldn't want to capture just a 1/4 inch of wood. So now we're going to broach it square. Just take a hinge, stick it in there. And make sure it's 90 degrees. So basically what the hinge looks like installed is that right there. And spend a little time doing this operation so that you have super free controls. And you don't glue these on until after it's painted, of course, in case there's a mishap or something. Okay. I hear it rubbing there a little bit. It's rubbing right there. Rubbing right here. How's it rubbing? Right there. Might have to dig that hole a little deeper. So I think we'll finish sanding that off with this. Took an hour and 12 minutes to get one done. Unreal. Of course, it's like I say, this gets finished sanded a couple more times, but at least we'll get it rough together. There we go. Just can't get any more free than that. Got a little bit of boogie right there. Oh, got a little boogie right there. Yeah, it's still rubbing a little bit right there. The reason why I wanted to get this mounted on here before I sanded the end of the tip is because this is a strange type elevator configuration. You hear it binding there? I see. It's this, not that, it's this. I'm going to sand a little bit out of this. And before I go too much farther, I'll end up saturating, after I get it shaped, I'll saturate this all with thin CA so this doesn't break off. Because that's happened to me before. It's a disaster. Yeah, that's going to take some more finagling. But what I was talking about is the shape of this elevator. I want to sand this all in one piece so I can get the flow of it right. That already looks better by itself. So, you see what I'm saying? That looks more better. More better. I'll have to get that clicking out of it though. This is indicative of the 60s design, this type nonsense. No. You know, you try to get your bell crank and your control horns to move at least 35 degrees. But if the truth be known, if you could watch this in flight, I'll bet it doesn't deflect 15 degrees. I bet it only deflects maybe that much. When you go like that, it deflects about that much. Maybe 20 degrees. But I always like to have my controls, you know, move the full range. I see what it is, but I just can't figure out how to get it off of there. That little spot right there. For the glue globule. Yeah, so trying to make the bell crank and flap elevator move a full, as far as you can. 45 degrees is that much right there. That's 45 right there. You would never use that much control. Never. That would be an air brake. Like I say, in a square turn, you might use that much. Maybe. There, I got it. A little glue globules set on there. Still a little bit more. Like I say, no matter how long it takes to make sure there's absolutely no touching and free movement in these controls is what you want to do. When I put it together, when I finalize this thing, when the model goes together, I might spend 3 or 4 hours finding the spots that it needs to be sanded or clearanced or whatever it takes. You want them super free. So where they just flop or they just fall down by gravity. And bushed 3/32 music wire are freer controls than ball links. And you want to know why? A ball link has an approximate area of 1/8 inch wide by 1/4 inch in diameter. A 3/32 wire, piece of music wire against a brass bushing is 3/32 by 3/32. So you have like 3 times as much surface area. And another bad thing about ball links, and I use them, don't get me wrong. You kind of have to use it on the elevator horn. But the bad thing about ball links is that they swell. And they tighten up in humidity. So Bob McDonald almost hit the ground when his controls locked up on his Thunderbolt one year in the humidity. Ball links are really good for a lazy guy. You don't have to spend any time lining things up, making sure things are perfect. Let's see here. I need this, and I need a little bottle. If your airplane's balanced correctly, it doesn't take much control movement at all to get it to turn. There we go. That seems to do it right there. So you got hinge point here, a hinge point at the horn, and then 2 hinge points. So you really got 6 on the tail. And the pocket itself, in a full range of movement. There we go. Never breaks, gives you a hinge gap. So that's the way to go. Now, John and we did cut some foam core cradles that had a thicker trailing edge so that you could pocket hinge the trailing edge of the wing. I did build one in that configuration, but I got to tell you, I don't think I'll do another one like that. And the reason being is when the wing is under load, it has a slight, so when you give it hard up and it goes like that, it has a slight bow to it. The flaps kind of get into a bind in that pocket, I think. I don't know. It just, these are just speculations that I run. I try a lot of different stuff. If you don't try stuff, you don't know what works. These guys say, well, pi r times radius square, this, that, and the other. And if you do this, that, and the bit, and you put the thing together and it don't work, that's because they didn't try it. It looks good on paper. The best way to go is trial and error, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I tried this and it didn't work, so let's do that and see if that works. I know this works. It's a proven method. It's on every airplane that I own the last 10 years. See, the flaps on that one aren't that way. Yeah, that wing, the wing up there, does not have pocket hinges. It has my hinges on it, but they're not in a pocket. But the elevator stabilizer is in a pocket. And that's the same with that airplane up there. It's not in a pocket on the flaps. And the same with my Junar, not in a pocket. And the same with my Tucker, not in a pocket. Let me ask you this. Is the audio okay? Because I'm running a couple of different mics. And I need to know before Saturday to make sure that we got good audio. Oh, neighbor's running the vacuum. The only way I can tell is feedback from you guys. So let me know. Is there any echo or anything like that? Do I need to turn one mic up or down? Rich Walbridge. How you doing, Rich? Okay. Do I want to take a break, eat breakfast? We got nine watchers and 9 thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share, super chat, join, become a paid member. All that stuff helps my channel. They have some type of metrics, and the higher the channel goes up in the metrics, the more it gets suggested. And the more it gets suggested, the more members we get, and it just kind of snowballs, So I need you guys to help me get this thing up. We've been doing fairly well. I've been getting about 25 likes per video, but if you look at the Raccoon Whisperer stupid shit, he'll put a video up and get 30,000 views and 1,000 thumbs up for feeding hot dogs to raccoons. I can't win. I guess educational stuff just ain't very exciting. And that's too bad. But with Stunt Hanger and the videos, the giveaways, I do my best, my part on trying to promote this hobby. But kids are not interested in this because it ain't on a computer. It takes way too much work. So if you got to work 400 hours and not get paid to do it, what kid is going to do that to build an airplane? %90 of the airplane's work is in the finish, if you want a good finish. What I'm doing here, getting it, put together and sanded straight, is only about 10% of the labor, I think. Make sure you hold that going downhill when you hit it with the kicker, because kicker will force it up into that hinge. And I have had it happen where the hinge gets glued in there and you got to cut it out and repair it and start over. Thick set CA. I have used thin, but thin has a big chance of wicking down into that bearing. and that becomes kind of disastrous. Yay, got away with it. Okay, let's do the last one. Let's see, I need to cut this in half, I guess. Yeah, we'll cut it in thirds again. Must have knocked one off. Okay. Of course, there's always one that's got to be tight. That's all right. Now, doing it this way, you know your hinges are all in line. The hinges, the horn, and everything's in line because these bearings self-center itself in that groove. So you can't mess up. Man, I hope we get away without locking one up. Okay, last one. It'll be this one that screws up if anything screws up. I suppose you could get debonder and debond it, but I don't have any. I think debonder is just acetone. Okay. You guys got this figured out? They ain't rocket scientists. Don't take Brett Buck to do this. Because if it took a rocket scientist, we'd be in big trouble. I'd never get this stuff done. You know, they say at McDonnell Douglas the airplane won't fly until the paperwork weighs the same amount as the airplane or outweighs the airplane. I believe it, because them guys will paperwork it to death. Those are the thinkers. They're not the doers. They think it'll work, but the doers got to prove that it doesn't. Used to do that all the time at Harley Davidson. Well, man, what did these guys thinking? Dumbass engineers. Many things that you might see on a late model Harley Davidson, I did before they came out. I'll explain to you what it is. Just one of the things. One of the things was the roller bearings in the twin cam, both sides, instead of a set of ball bearings. And then they came out with a cam bearing update, which is one roller bearing and one ball bearing. Roller bearing on the drive side, ball bearing on the idler. But on my motorcycles, I was running such high lift cams, I just put two roller bearings on it. Well, I turned that over to the factory, and they started doing that. That's me. I did that. The next thing was I'm the first guy that put a V-rod front end on a Dyna. And I know that, and I also put a 16-inch wheel on a Dyna. We did that for a show bike in our showroom. And then they came out with a Harley model similar to that a couple years later. I have a lot of innovations. The engineer said, well, that won't work. Yeah, it will. Just stand back. I'll show you. God, I hated them V-rods. What junk they were. A Japanese Harley. The motor actually was designed by Porsche, but had the influence of a VMAX. I bet you guys never seen a square four-cylinder Harley Davidson. That was a model at one time, but up in the archives in Milwaukee, they got, well, not, maybe it's in a museum now. They got a museum in Milwaukee, but it used to be up in the archives above the Bob Smith smoking room. They had Bob Knievel's bike up there, and they had all kind of crap. Number one, the Bob Smith smoking room. You couldn't smoke in the plant, so they had a room designated after Bob Smith. I guess he was an engineer or something there. I don't know what exactly he did there. Never met the guy. They had a room, and man, when you walk into that room and knock you out. It's like smoking a pack of cigarettes just walking into the room. The plant is on Juneau Avenue. It's going to take some work to get that bump out of that one. Might as well work on it right now. Not bad. Yeah, it's good enough to proceed for now. Like I say, I usually end up going over these things many times before they get on the airplane. But we'll get to see what it weighs today anyway. And after I weigh it, then we'll stay on 2 hours. I'm going to eat breakfast. And I'll be back on later on today after I figure out what I'm going to do. Might work on the wing a little bit, get it ready. With the landing gear clip and the sheeting on I think it's the inboard side, needs to be finished up. And then we can put the wing together. Install one of the finest bell cranks on the planet, the Dan Winship carbon bell crank. When Dan comes over, and we're going to do this thing on Saturday, he's going to trade me a piece of 1/8 phenolic for 1/8 phenolic for some 16th that I have. So I'm going to trace this out to get the geometry of it. But I'm going to make a plug that's just the perimeter. I'm going to take out this center section so that it's just we'll lighten this up. I'm going to do away with these bearings, these clevis pins with cotter pins in there. I didn't like them. I'm going to run them feet like the Brett Buck bell crank. And of course, it'll have a molded hole at 15/16 and 3/4. So we can run either or horns in it. But there again, it's got to weigh 7 grams. That's all it can be. You don't have to have a 4-inch bell crank to get that feel out of an airplane. You can do the same thing with a 3-inch bell crank. It all depends on horn geometry. I've had many airplanes with 3-inch bell cranks. Didn't start using 4-inch, they'll start using pipe motors, and that's because it's all that weight in the nose. Okay, it's going to take some more work, but we'll go ahead and hinge it up so I can eat breakfast. Let's change views. And I want to go to number 2. Oop. If you're going to buy calipers, make sure you get a good set of sterrets. You can use hobby calipers for what we're doing, but you want real accuracy, you need a good pair of measuring devices. I also have a good set of mics, 1-inch to 4-inch mics. That's what you need right there. Believe it or not, I think that's 1 to 6. I got a pair that'll go to 12 inches. It's a big old honking pair of calipers. Huge. Okay, let's mark this up and get this set. And I'm about starving to death. Okay, that's where that goes. Where's my pen? Get so hungry you get sick. You can get some Jim Lee finger drills. These are really good too. I mean, you could probably drill motor mounts with them through maple, but it'd take a while. But they're good for drilling balsa. Something that you need control on instead of trying to jam a electric drill down through there. They're not very expensive, $7, I think. Or make them, whatever. Okay, once again, there's how the hinges sit in there. These will be on and off at least 100 more times before the airplane's done. What the heck did I do here? There we go. Didn't get it perfect. Gotta move it out. If you have a little bind or whatever, take the drill bit, ogle the hole just a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's going to get filled with epoxy anyway. There we go. Let's see. I need to go a little more. It's still, see, it doesn't drop. It's not quite free. It's because the hinge is in a bind slightly. So we'll make it a little longer. There we go. That's free enough. That'll free up. Pick out the boogies. But what it does allow me to do is sand that corner around there. This edge right here. So how do I use that big heavy duty sandpaper? Got a fingernail mark on it now. Nope. Felt like it. It felt like I put a fingernail mark in it. I'll take this one off while I finish it. All right, guys, like, subscribe, share. And please consider becoming a paid member where it says join down there by the subscribe button. We're going to do some, I haven't been after it too much here lately. I've been pretty busy, but I am going to do some stuff for paid members only, especially now since Al died. I'm going to have to get back on that program and build a Bearcat in Al's memory. Al was a good guy. I can remember when I told Al, I said, Al, I want to build your Bearcat. You can't build that Bearcat. I said, okay, whatever. Little be known to Al, I could have built that Bearcat without plans, without anything. All I needed was numbers. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I'm gonna build a Bearcat on his plans with his molds and his skins and his fuel tank, his canopies, his mufflers. Thank you, Eduardo. Muchas gracias. I think you're Spanish, but I don't know. Help support the cause, please. Thank you very much. All right. Back in the day, back when all that carbon crap came out, I would have carbon fibered this up, and man, I'd have boogied it up and made it really a turd. Let's see what it weighs. Carbon fiber veil is no good. Sounds good. It is no good. Adds weight and zero strength. It does make the wood harder, but come on. This stupid thing is going to weigh 3 ounces. Let's see. 86 grams. 3 ounces. God, I can't win. See? 3 ounces. You can't win. Of course, we'll lose a little bit on the horns when I cut this off. But what I lose on that, I'll gain back in clips. From Brazil. Yeah, the Brazilians, when the Brazilian air comes down, they were fun guys. And they had I saved that one guy's airplane from hit me in the face and breaking in a million pieces. I swear to God, them guys in Brazil don't know how to use glue. Let me explain to you what happened one year. Them guys came down with their P-51s, and it was a windy Nats. Like this year is going to be a really windy Nats. I'm positive of it. And oh, you write it down. Good. So I'm writing Sparky notes. I'm writing the Sparky notes. So that's great. The Brazilianaires came in. I can't remember what. We got Bené Rodriguez and Thomas Case. Thomas Case brings his crew of the Brazilianaire brings his crew of Brazilians from Brazil. They come to the Nats. They got 50 P-51s. I mean, everybody had a P-51. So I'm standing on circle 2, between circle 2 and circle. No, I was standing on circle 2, between circle 1 and circle 2, and I look up, and the wing flew off, and it just went down to the ground. So the fuselage separated the wing, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know how far, but all I remember is it going like that. So I can't remember who I was talking to. This is all in the same week. So we're all staying at the, what's the name of that motel there? Not the Signature, the other one where they got the breakfast, Anyway. Oh, maybe it was. No, it was the one because Wendy was down there. Anyway, we're all talking, and I asked him, I said, hey, do you guys use glue in Brazil to put your airplane? She goes, oh, yeah, see, we use glue. Yeah, okay, great. So I'm standing on circle 3, between circle 3 and circle 4. 2 things happen there. And I hear this god-awful vibration. And the minute I turned my head, the motor flew out of one airplane and it almost hit me in the foot. I kind of jumped back. And then I had my Thunderbolt number 3 in circle 4 pits, which is between circle 3 and circle 4. And the wind came up. And I mean, it was the wind. And I was standing by my airplane. I was getting ready. I wanted to protect it from debris or whatever. The wind came up and it lifted this guy's, and a nicely built P-51, not one of the junk ones, lifted it up, and I caught it midair before it hit me in the face. it lifted off the ground and went straight up, and I went straight like that, and I caught it on the fuselage. I didn't put a dent in it, a fingernail mark, or anything, but the wind picked it up, wham, and I caught it right like that. Oh, muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Yeah, I'll bet. it was unreal. If I'd have been another 5 foot closer, 10 foot closer to the year that Bob's airplane got the dust devil whipped it up, I'd have went over and tried to catch it too, but I wasn't quite in the right position. I was upwind from it instead of downwind. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for this session. Thank you very much for becoming a supporter, Eduardo. And I'll be back later on this evening, 6, 7 o'clock. We'll figure out what we're going to do. I'll start laying out some pieces to see where I'm at, what I need to make. We're getting there. I mean, if I was in St. Louis, I could put the hump on and have the airplane together tomorrow. It's the reality, you know. Fuselage is done, rudder's done, elevator stabilizer's done. Here's the rudder that's going on it. No, that's not it. This one. This one's the lighter one. Here's the rudder that's going on it. So it'll be like a so. It'll have some nice aesthetics to it, I'm sure. And we got the fuselage top bottom block done. I got both halves of the wings done except for the landing gear clip. And I might do that anyway by hand tonight. I don't know. Depends how I feel. This is the molded top block that I showed how to mold. It's a double stack, 2/16 with white glue. So it's 1/8 inch thick, but very light. Let's see what it weighs. Same with the bottom block. Weighs 10 grams, so 10-gram top block is not bad. I'd rather it be a 5, but you're dreaming. The bottom's the same way. It needs to be sanded straight. I'm going to use this cowl on it. This is the only piece out of a kit. And the reason I want to use it is because of these holes. This came out of a Ted Fancher tradition or whatever he calls that stupid thing. But we're going to use that. Ted builds the nicest cowls in Stunt. So hopefully I can match it up with at least with those parts. Now I could recut them, but why? We'll use them out of the kit. Let's see, I got some scrap wood here. I can see where I made another stabilizer. There's another stabilizer skin. I don't know why I didn't like that. Probably too big, too heavy, or too big one. I'll show you the wing. We got the basswood for the compression spar. So I got a piece left here. This is 8/8 inch basswood, top and bottom compression spar. I got a nose block. It's going to have the I got to do this over John's because this has to be cut on a bandsaw. You got to get the first shape in it. Let's see what this is. This is a stick that I have in the trailing edge of that airplane. I got the tips ready to go. Put the stick back. I don't need that. So this is I don't know which one this is. Let's see here. This is the outboard wing here. You guys got any idea how much this weighs? This will make you sick. My wing right now weighs 5 ounces, because this is 2.5 ounces right here. That's about right. Got a slight whoop in the end there. We'll sand out. Not bad though. It'll sand right out. Anyway, got my signature 3/16 and 3/4 trailing edge. This is all done, ready to go. Boxed in. Hinge pockets are in there. You notice I drilled the holes for where the hinge points are, because there's blocks in there to make sure you have enough surface area to glue to. So we got an airplane here. All I got to do is finish that landing gear on the other wing. Let's see, I already got them cut out. And we might go ahead and do that anyway. I got all the pieces cut already. These just need to be glued together, notched, sanded, fit, and they go in this wing right here. Well, I found my pilot. Damn. There's the pilot I looked for my Tucker. So I had to make a new one. But my new one looks better than he did anyway. But we'll put him in this one. So I got the pilot made already. So I need to, this is the wing right here, the inboard. Left, yep. This is the inboard wing. I need to finish sanding it. It looks to me like I need to make all the, I need to make all the half ribs. We'll do that tonight. We'll make half ribs. This sheeting's not glued on, so we'll make half ribs and get them notched and get this outboard side finished up. And that'll be kind of the game plan for this evening. And once that's done, all you gotta do is glue them together. That's right. Yep. Put the compression spar in and glue it together. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you this evening. Fair winds, tight lines. Keep building. See ya.